You don't have a career, you don't have a degree, you don't have anything but a child with a nigga who's about to be charged with a RICO.
And the other who don't want you around.
He hates your guts.
You don't think about like his family and other people that love him?
I am an evil person.
You don't think that.
Like, this is a Dave Chappelle skit.
I've also come to realization that there are just certain allegations that I will never, ever beat with you guys. I came into this situation with the status because I have a child by a very successful...
You don't have a status.
...artist, right?
Oh my God, you're so stupid. Speaking of shitty American men.
But that's not a bad gig though. You got a 2.5 coming bonus, and then you got $500K a year to raise the seed. That's legit. I'm better than WNBA numbers.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. That's a good.
100%.
That's
She don't have to work no more.
I honestly see DJ Academics as the only person besides Justin LeBoy that could do this kind of interview.
Because they're amazing suckers.
That is Senator Cory Booker, who, I'll be honest with y'all, long-standing op of mine. He was. That's him saying that to her.
Yeah.
Because again, this is honestly, she's calling you sassy.
He's saying
that's what she's doing.
That making this criticism and making fun of women with BBLs this way in a room, in a event that's supposed to only be uplifting women, and we had to make our separate thing because women in this field don't get the light and they don't get their flowers, and then this is the time that you choose to make this criticism. This podcast is sponsored by Graffiti Tax Services. For all your tax preparation needs, you can go to graffititax.com. We're going to put the link right here. It should be somewhere. And yeah, you can head to them for during tax season. And if you have any financial or tax preparation questions, head to Graffiti Tax Services. They're our new sponsor. Thank you to Graffiti Tax Preparation Services. That's it.
Your whole life is revolved around talking about other people's lives.
What the fuck do you think your ass is doing on that podcast
Rocky.
now?
I'm a troubled soul.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be established
Without question.
because I have like the curse of like knowledge. I think that's kind of sounds a little bit gassy, like I'm gassing myself up a little bit. But I like, it's kind of like, have y'all ever seen Infinity War? When Thanos was talking to Tony, he was like, I too was cursed with knowledge. And what a lot of people don't understand is like the curse of knowledge in and of itself isn't the fact that you know it all. It's the fact that there's always one element that you won't know.
What are you talking about?
I'm just talking about a conundrum that happened with me where I knew all the pieces on the table. I just didn't know there was a game being played.
There's always a game being played.
I didn't realize it. I wasn't abreast. This week, we missed the opportunity to 12,000% our money.
Literally.
Like it was right. I'm not, when I say, I'm talking 1200 decimal point, not 12%.
12,000.
We had a chance to 12,000%. We knew all the factors. And if you ask what we're talking about, if you look at the latest pump and dump that happened with the new, I think it's Newsmax. Mm-hmm. It's a conservative competition to Fox News. I told y'all on this show that Trump and Rupert Murdoch were at odds. So, of course, his other friend, who has the other conservative show, who just went public on March 31st, would have a stock that goes from $10 to $200 in like 3 days.
We could have put all our money into that.
We would have pulled out yesterday. We would have been Gucci.
Done.
Like all of our clips from now on would have been promoted.
Set.
Like I show her the 12,000%. She lost it. It was so much. Like you don't come across shit like that. But
we could have changed our lifestyle.
Totally. In 3 days.
That is, I don't even like to think about that.
It's tough, man. Like you have these opportunities in your life and you don't know. And that wasn't even an opportunity for us. We didn't know it was going public on the 31st. Mm-hmm. Had we known it was going public on the 31st and we would have looked at all that information, of course we would have threw some of the foundation.
Bands.
Yeah, some of the foundation in there.
More than a couple bands.
But it happens, man. We always had these opportunities, and then they fall. Have you ever had that happen to you before? Like you had an opportunity to come into some big money, and it didn't.
Not big money. I have a long list of regrets in my life.
Like what?
I feel like I think about this regularly. Like there's a time where I can see like a switch in like where my trajectory was going, and unfortunately, that was probably me smoking weed.
The opportunity doesn't matter about what you're doing.
Like I was just not doing the right thing. I was like, my freshman year I was going to a school. My mom caught me smoking, so she made me leave that school and transfer, and that was a mistake. It was like everything started going downhill. I was like commuting to school. I started giving less of a like it what didn't feel like a college experience. Like my life was just not how I planned it. There's no like this moment I could have made a bunch of money, but it was like this moment this shouldn't have happened.
So you never got like somebody tell you, hey, put money in this or do this or nothing like that?
We've talked about you telling me to put money into Bitcoin.
No, I'm talking about before me. I'm talking about.
No.
Okay, so I have a story about.
Not at all.
Now that you brought up Bitcoin, I do actually have a story about that. So there was a homeboy that I went to school with. He was my roommate. He knows who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. We were roommates in high school, and we were roommates in college. We also went to high school. He comes home one day, and I'm sitting there watching TV, and this is like 2013. And he goes, "You ever heard of Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Yeah, some people use it to buy like drugs online." Like that was my answer. Like that's because that's what I heard about it before.
That's what we knew about Bitcoin.
It was Silk Road and all this other stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, like people know how to buy drugs with it online. He looks at me, he's like, this dude just asked me to give him $500 and he'll give us 15 Bitcoin. Like, you think about going half with it? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then he thought about it again. He said, well, I don't want no currency you can't buy nothing real with, so I'm straight. And we end up missing out on, I think it was
15
it used to be
Bitcoin.
15. I think it was 30, honestly. Now that I think about it, I think we want to split it 15.
For $500.
Well, it was 250 from both of us. And we both would have had 15 Bitcoin after that. And that point right there was the part where I was down. I was going to give the 250 for it and say, whatever, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. My dad used to tell me all the time, IBM was the stock when he was a young man.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, if I get an opportunity like that to get a large sum, I'm going to do it. My homeboy messed it up. It was his play. So it wasn't like I could overstep it, but it was his play. It was his homeboy. But I think about that a lot because that would have changed, because I would have just sat on it.
I feel like you have a lot of stories like that because you have another story with the same friend where you had an idea of doing some content very, very, very early on. And
he told me that nobody's making money off the internet.
He said nobody's making money off the internet. This is probably like it
was like 2013, 13, 12, 13.
A man without vision.
It might have been 13, 14 now that I think about it.
He's very successful now, but back then,
yeah, the vision wasn't there.
The vision was not visioning.
It wasn't. It was cloudy. But the crazy thing was there was already people making a lot of money off the internet.
He probably just wasn't tapped in.
Not the same way, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember then later on he gives me like a list of like top YouTubers. He was like, "This what you was talking about?" I said, "Yeah." And it's messed up too because it's not like we're ugly guys, so like it would have been appealing to do that around that time.
Yeah.
So that's why it was funny to me. It's like, yo, that was literally an easy layup we could have had, but I know I couldn't do it on my own. I need someone else to help me with stuff like that. So, but no, it happens a lot. Like my dad told me about opportunity. My mom had stories like that. It just happens where it's like your life can change. I don't want to say the trajectory because that's more so for me built on what you can do, but your life resources can change overnight sometimes. Mm-hmm. But we'll get the next one. Don't worry. We're going to be on the ground.
That's what we said last time, man.
Young.
That's what we said last
time.
That's
messed up, young. That's messed up. The times they keep coming though.
It's gonna keep happening.
I'm glad to have the soundboard back because a lot of the songs we were playing we were letting ride, and I was nervous that like one day when we get bigger, like Def Jam and all the groups. I'm like, oh, give me all your episodes, nigga.
But we talk over a lot of it.
Yeah, but they find that whatever room they need. All right, you are now listening to Talk FNF TV. I am your host, Absurd Rhetoric, and I'm with my lovely and amazing and gorgeous co-host, Miss Farrah.
Why were you yelling?
Because I got the board back, yo. Like I don't think you understand how I've been. Like that was one of the things in our life, doing this together that I sacrificed for you because you had an issue. Some of the fans was talking.
Okay. I'm
and
glad
so
you
that was like
mentioned
one of the things where I had to feel like I had to stop a piece of myself so that you could have what you wanted, but no longer. All right, we got a lot to get into today.
We still got the volume low though, because he's not about to piss me off.
She's not there in post production, but but we got a lot to get to today. We have.
Do we?
Yeah, we got your boy DJ Academics again.
I saw that Kanye was in a black KKK hood.
You are correct. DJ Academics did do a interview which he had Kanye West dressed as a black Klansman. Not the way that that's like the movie.
No.
Not at all.
Just a Klan uniform, but in black.
Yeah. So did you watch any of the interview at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to give Kanye and his antics any of my time. It's buffoonery, and we know exactly what it is. So
yeah, this was like I don't want to say this is the pinnacle because then I feel like he's going to try to top that, but you don't get too much more tomfoolery than what he pulled off there.
No, not at all.
And it's so frustrating when you see people trying to validate this page. Like this is clearly a man who was off his rocker.
I don't even think that anymore.
Like,
he's not off his rocker.
What do you mean? You think this is just a coordinated event to just sell shit?
Yeah, whatever the shit is, or for attention.
But
or for probably just for attention.
I think more so maybe the attention. But the problem I just have with a whole bunch of this, I'm gonna play some clips for this. It's just it means nothing at the end of the day. Like I could understand if he was doing this to further some type of goal or idea, but it just feels like it's just self.
Yeah.
And then I promise you, I listened to this interview twice because I was really trying to see like maybe I'm missing something. And
you're trying to find some deeper meaning. There is no deeper meaning in anything that Kanye has been doing for at least the past like 4 years.
So I think this is a shorter clip for it, but I want y'all to kind of just get an idea of what type of time bro was on. And then we can kind of get into more of like the actual people he was addressing. But I just want you to hear what time he was on.
It feels like you still have a little bit of animosity there.
I'm evil.
DJ Academics being quiet.
You don't think about like his family and other people that love him?
I am an evil person.
You don't think that.
Like, this is a Dave Chappelle skit.
It felt like that.
Kanye seems like he's been performing like Dave Chappelle playing Kanye.
It does feel like this is just Kanye has really and truly fell into the character or the delusion that I guess he's been trying to sell. Mm-hmm. Because when Academics walked in, right?
Grandeur.
Let me just tell you, because you can tell like a lot of this stuff is a little bit of fugaziness to it. Because when it first starts off, Academics comes into the room. Kanye don't have nothing on. So like you actually see him become the character in the process of this, because he's like, oh, let me go put that shit on, and then he comes back out, and then he has the whole fit on. And I don't want to say that DJ Academics was in awe, but he was thoroughly like shocked. Like he didn't know, should he laugh? Should he condemn it? Like he didn't know how to feel. And he just felt like, let Kanye tell me how to feel from now on. Like that's what the whole interview was.
How do you interview Kanye at this point? How do you interview this Kanye? You can't steer him anywhere because he's going to do and say what he wants to do and say. And then you can't put him in a corner and ask him about anything and try to take accountability for anything because he's just going to lash out.
Honestly, I honestly see DJ Academics as the only person besides Justin LeBoy that could do this kind of interview.
Because they're amazing dick suckers.
They're pacifiers.
They're like, put it down his throat. He's fine with it.
regardless,
both of them,
regardless of
both
what,
of them stand on nothing. Like they stand on nothing and they get on their knees quickly. So I agree with you.
Regardless of what, there was never going to be any kind of pushback in a
No.
real way. Even like there was some questions that you can consider pushback because like he talked about the Jay-Z and what he said about his kids and stuff like that. But you could tell that there wasn't it from a factor like you're doing, like how Van Lathan did it. Like there isn't anybody who is checking Kanye.
No.
I think there's a difference between pushback and checking. Pushback is like, hey, can you clarify this maybe? Checking them is like, you are wrong.
I want somebody to check Kanye in an interview.
But you know what's so hard about to do that? It's because he blends his insanity with elements that people resonate with. Like one of the things that I kept seeing when I was watching this interview was he kept bringing up his kids. And to me, it felt like he was just doing the jargon. You remember I talked about the folks who do the predator catching content and how they're just doing that so that their bad behaviors can be ignored in place of focusing on someone who is deemed socially worse than the rest of them. Mm-hmm. I think this is what happens here. He tries to go to, oh, my kids. And that's just where everybody can feel where they resonate. Because even when I was talking to a family member about this, and she was like, oh, I feel him on the stuff with the kids. And I'm like, that's why he says it. He says these things that appeal to people about their kids, but it's like, I don't think that they are the priority he tries to claim them to be.
I don't feel anything when he talks about his kids. It might be because I don't have children, and I think it's because didn't nobody fucking tell you to have children with that white woman in the first place? You keep talking about, oh, she's a white woman and she's trafficking your black children, and you keep specifying that they are black children so you can like play on our heartstrings a little bit about these little black kids. But this is the what's the word I'm looking for? The critique. And the thing that we have been saying forever, having children with white women there's always like a slight risk to it, especially a white woman who has her as much resources as Kim Kardashian does. She could snatch your kids away and she could paint you in a negative light and people are going to believe her over you because she's a white woman and you're a black man and you're insane.
I got some more clips for us to react to.
Issue with Jim was we working on clothes. And I said, look, send me a PDF. For anybody who doesn't know, it's like a group of pictures in a folder that you send to the iPhone. You could do like 300 pictures, 10 pictures on it, 10 pages. I said, send me a PDF of all the ideas, all the young niggas you know in New York. Let me see all of this shit right now. Let the king see everything that's happening, right? This man tells me, I don't know how to make a PDF.
I believe that.
100%.
That was way more disrespectful to me than a nigga figuring out how to get the $2 million. Do you understand why? Because this shit to my face, nigga. You gonna lie to me about a fucking PDF, you faggot ass nigga? After I sat and took the meeting for you, you took the money and I ain't even asked your broke ass for a percentage?
Maybe he didn't know how to do it.
Yo, DJ.
You think one of his young niggas knew how to do it?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that he could have figured it out after that nigga made $2 million?
Definitely.
Next subject.
So that was the one part I did agree with Kanye with. When he was taking down Jim Jones, for one thing, calling a blood a it is crazy. Like, that's just the nuts thing.
Jim Jones, I feel like, is the least intimidating blood. Probably.
But at the same token, still calling him a maggot in real time, along with everybody else he was calling that too. But it's hilarious. But in the same token, I 100% believe that Jim Jones gives me the kind of person who, once you require something of him, now it becomes difficult. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh, huh? Like, because how could you fix yourself to say, I don't know. Maybe it's like the low education system that these people come from. I can't imagine to myself.
Public education systems in New York are amazing.
Well, I mean, he wasn't during the high times of it. He was during like the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So he's not.
I guess
this isn't the.
Jim Jones can't keep his braids together. I don't know. I'm not surprised that he can't. He don't know how to.
But
make
just
a
think
PDF.
about that though. But no, like I think we need to quantify that. When you're in a situation like this with somebody and you have resources and they ask for something, it should never be a no. Especially because let me explain the situation. Kanye was telling DJ Academics that he did a interview, or he did a sit down with someone that was going to pay Jim Jones $2 million to set up for him to sit down with Kanye West. It was a crypto investor. Kanye doesn't really fool with the crypto like that, but he did it because he knew Jim Jones was going to get money off of this. So then when he asked Jim Jones for information for a PDF file of all the people in New York who were up and coming with the fashion, that's when he felt disrespected, was because I gave my time so you could get money in your pocket, ask for no commission at all. Mm-hmm. And then you can't provide me with digital information per request.
Yeah.
Like I'm asking you to give you an arm and a leg. Mm-hmm. But people like that make it harder for you to kind of look at the group and understand not everybody's like that. Because when you're so outspoken like a Jim Jones is, you try to do the I'm real type stuff. But then when it comes down to someone asking you to do something simple, you can't be a boss.
Something simple that would benefit, like,
even if you don't think it's simple, he's asking a request, figure it out.
Yeah. And it's something simple that would benefit kids in New York, up and coming fashion designers and people who are around you. So
and and how do you feel comfortable telling another man you don't know how to do something? That's another thing that's insane to me. I would never tell another man I don't know how to do something, even if it's the farthest thing out from my wheelhouse. Especially if I'm pertaining myself to be a boss. I'm not sitting here doing that. Like I'm telling you, okay, we'll figure it out
regardless.
Because I want you to look at me as someone that gets it figured out.
Fiverr exists. Like there's so many resources.
Like to me, that's just so, it's indicative of what those gentlemen represent in the Dipset crew. Like, in the worst part of it is Jim in regards to that. But that is so many individuals that.
What do you mean?
There's so many individuals who try to trade this persona that they're men who get stuff done, who are hard. You know, we bosses, we do all, but it's just all a facade. It's all just exploiting people around you. It's all just taking advantage of opportunity, and it's never really having you the merit that you actually deserve the position that you have. Mm-hmm. And I think Jim Jones represents that in a large token when you actually go into detail. But I don't want to say too much on Jim Jones because he'll probably punch me one day and then I can get some money off of him. That'll be lit. Hold on, I got some more stuff regarding Kanye because this is what Breaking 911 clipped up from the interview and said we need to check on Kanye.
That run the Super Bowl had to come to people who run the music industry and be like, you guys, you're letting your niggers get out of hand. Oh my God, that Kanye. Mm-hmm. Would somebody take a knee for it? Where's he out of there? See, that's the problem. You let them last too long. In our league, they're for 2 years, 3 years, they're out of there. We deal with, we got Tom Brady, he's great. We made Mahomes throw that fucking Super Bowl, so Tom could get his 7th ring and shit. But, like, you guys at the music industry, what you got to do, start getting smaller artists and put them on. We're going to set you up. We're going to take Rolling Loud. We're going to connect them with Live Nation. And then we're going to get a bunch of small artists.
Jewish
and then,
voice.
You'll be able to make your money off of that. And then, if we take, Cardi's doing good, we'll make them take the blue pill. We'll have them rap about Skims. And then mention Northwest. We love Northwest. Kanye, don't worry about him. He's a lunatic. Don't worry about him. Does any of that sound right or sound accurate to you?
Nothing you've said sounds right or accurate.
No, that was 100% accurate what he said.
Like, Jesus Christ.
That was 100% accurate what they do. It's the idea of what we talked about with Yachty and all them, where they take your rights to your music and your art, and then they tell you get your money off of the people that you get under your pyramid scheme. That's what he's talking about right there. It was just that was super hilarious voice that he was doing with the Jewish voice. But
I don't want to listen to this man no more.
Okay, I do have some more points I want to talk about because he did say some things that was interesting about Kendrick.
He said he was jealous of Kendrick.
He said he was jealous, and we know why. He got the opportunity to slay the dragon that Kanye thinks he's entitled to slay.
Yeah. And
so once he lost that opportunity, it's always going to be up for Kendrick. And now Kendrick is kind of in the position where the quote unquote, Lucian's baby Lucian's baby mama or whatever, the shit that he was saying about Drake.
Lucian is his rich baby daddy.
His rich baby daddy, yeah. I think that now applies more so to Kendrick in that regard because of where his standing in the company and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Lucian decided to switch up his sugar baby. But that's always the case.
And then he was mad that he was on Cardi's album and he felt like Kanye should be on Cardi's album. He's super entitled. Like, this man said he feels like Drake should be writing for him, Travis Scott should be doing his beats, and they should all be under him. Like, that's how entitled he feels like that's his position.
They're not going to be under you and doing anything for you at all. Like, I think he also mentioned something at one point about being a little bit jealous of Drake too.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Like,
he's talked about that on numerous occasions.
There are gonna be artists that surpass you. You and like Jay and everyone, like, y'all had y'all era, and this is not y'all era anymore. You're still like Kanye. You're always gonna be Kanye, but this is not your era.
I also wanted to talk about the thing where you said earlier about when he was talking about Kim and the kids and stuff like that. And this is what I mean by, I don't believe it's a very critical point for him in the way that he claims it to be, because he was arguing about not having the rights to North or to be able to like approve her on content and stuff like that because of the Diddy song.
Yeah, because her, like, the copyright is under
Kim owns it.
Kim owns it. Yeah.
So my thing is this: why was that not negotiated when y'all were doing the proceedings for the divorce and the child support and stuff? Like, why is that not a conversation then? Because a lot of this stuff, to me, it feels like either you didn't care about it at the time and now you're just using it when it benefits you.
I think it was talked about because in those text threads, Kim was like, we spoke about like me doing this and then transferring it back to her when she turns 18.
Mm-hmm. No, here's what I'm saying is like these conversations are either being had or
and
you're lying to us.
Yeah, he's lying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my major point is, if something like this happens, if you gave it to her, then you were okay with the decisions being made by the mother, and you should just This is just you and the Trump shit. Trump does the deal with Mexico when he's with Mexico and Canada, and now he's telling us, "Oh, these are the worst deals ever." Nigga, you made the deal.
Like we forgot.
Yeah, this is what Kanye do. Kanye, you made the deal because you probably didn't want to have the responsibility of it, looking over all this stuff. You probably had to do a lot of stuff for the show, and he probably didn't want to have to be busy and bogged down by that. So you gave it to Kim, and now you mad that you can't use, or it's being used to censor you now.
I was about to ask a stupid question. I'm not even gonna ask it. When we were talking about earlier, nobody can check him. Who would you like to see interview Kanye that could potentially check him?
Van Lathan again.
Okay.
I would like to see them have a real sit down, not like on the spot type thing. Like him really sit down with Van Lathan.
That would be good. I think Van would definitely check him. Do you think maybe like Mark Lamont?
No, Mark is very passive. He's a very passive person when it comes to that.
Okay, I just think he's smart. Who else do you think? Do you think
after that it would just be black women?
That's what I was about to bring up. Candace?
No, Candace would suck him off the whole interview.
She would?
They're like teamed up.
I thought Candace was
she loves Kanye.
Okay, I don't know what
she wore his White Lives Matter shirt.
Oh yeah. Has she been standing with him through the
100%
anti-Semitic shit
She's
too?
the anti-Semitic.
Okay. I did not know Candace
That's how she got kicked off of Daily Wire.
Okay. I don't consume her content, so I wouldn't know. That's it? That's on who else? Would you want to see him sit down with like a traditional like type interviewer, like maybe like a Gale?
No. I only think I want to see him talk to somebody who's going to chomp him off back, like with actual information and facts, like, or just rip his head off.
And you think Van Lathan is the only person?
No, I think Van Lathan can do it. I'm trying to think about women who would be able to get that opportunity, but also stand on. Because I just think he would just push a lot of those people to the side. Because I think even, I'm going to say, I mean, Angie would be good, of course, but that's all normal. I'm trying to think about some people who
Angie does really good interviews.
I'm trying to think about somebody who's more so right now who would check them. A lot of those people kind of go through the wind. A lot of those places that now they kind of falling off.
At this point, he got to sit down with Oprah. We got to get to it.
He's already done that.
After the
Kanye. I'm talking about the Kanye. Remember he did the George Bush thing. He sat down with Oprah after that.
No, that was when the black people were standing with Kanye.
You talking about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that. I'm trying to think of the position. Maybe I can't off the top of my head think of the creators that would really challenge him in a real way. But a lot of that also comes to I believe that content creators now are trying to appease people. In that, like the higher they get or closer to the top, you can say, they just try to appease those people more. It's less very, very heavily critical. Those people also become less like informed on things. And so I think that's a big part of it. Oh, he did kind of admit, and this was off the slick, and we can wrap up on this one. He did admit off the slick that anti-Semitism is just an attention magnet. Like he just does it just for that. Because when DJ Academics tried to ask Kanye about it, he said it, but he was trying to make it sound fly. Mm-hmm. And I caught it. I was like, no, you just said that's an attention, man. You're just doing it because people care when you do it.
Yeah. And it's obvious though. Like we didn't need him to say that. We know that you're just saying words to say words. You're just like screaming.
Yeah, that whole I wear your pain because you exploited mine, that's just bullshit because you have nothing substantial for the people who are being taken advantage of.
And then I saw people being like, oh, he might have aired a little bit with this one. No, he didn't. He's not doing anything. He's not saying anything worthwhile. He's not starting conversations. He's just like a crazy man yelling on the street.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think that was a great way of putting it. Erykah Badu was at the Billboard Music Award for...
Billboard Women in Music 2025.
Okay. And she wore a very interesting outfit to said award. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy because wasn't it from Summer Walker? Mm-hmm. And that outfit that she was wearing made a lot of conversation happen because I think that the large swath of people kind of looked at it as a criticism of BBL culture. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
She was mocking.
Which is funny because she's always been touted for having like the fattest ass ever.
Yeah, but we knew that shit was homegrown. Like didn't nobody think that Erykah Badu back in Baduism days had a BBL. Like, come on. She just, and it was a surprise too because niggas didn't know that she had the wagon until she did that one music video where she was naked. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's when everyone realized that she had a wagon.
I realized that when she had a baby with Andre 3000 and Jay Electronica. I knew it had to for them kind of brothers to go after it, one after another. I knew they had to bite. That thing probably had to bite back. Essence, this is how Essence described her critique. Basically, she said she rocked an augmentation suit, mm-hmm. red lipstick, and an intentionally messy wig. She took home the Icon Award. So my question is this, because I've always looked at, from at least my standpoint, Erykah Badu being an individual who was in the promotion or furthering of the advancement of women, more so black women. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this action does do that.
It doesn't.
Because it could. There's an argument for it.
You're at the women's award. Like, this is, you could argue that making this criticism and making fun of women with BBLs this way in a room, in a event that's supposed to only be uplifting women, and we had to make our separate thing because women in this field don't get the light and they don't get their flowers, and then this is the time that you choose to make this criticism. It's not actually like, other than the women who are dying from going to get BBL, it's not actually hurting anybody.
I would doubt
physically.
Again, when you say the part that you can die off of and you ignore that part, then yeah, of course. But that's the major point. Like, I'm pretty sure there's celebrities that we can name right now whose families are missing people that wish they wouldn't go in for these procedures. Mm-hmm. So to me, I feel like it is important because I've always been spoken on. A lot of times the criticism has to come from in the house.
It does. There's a time and place though also.
And I feel like at some point, if you see something going on amongst your people, and especially amongst your women, and you have that big opportunity to put a mirror on them or on the culture that you have disdain for, and to do it in that way, that's the way that you do it.
Do you think it's the right event to do it at?
That's the part where it gets kind of tough at, because you have the argument of now you're doing this in front of white folk.
Yeah. That's my thing. Like,
but the same token is,
if you love me, check me respectfully in private.
But she can say in the same token, y'all go out here, put all this stuff in y'all ass and all this other stuff in front of these white folks.
And shake your ass in front of these white folks.
So why is it now a problem for me to criticize you in front of said white folks?
I think it's a little bit more careless, and it comes off like you're not doing it with love if you're doing it in front of everybody. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. And I think also, if she did this at like the BET Awards, like, this is our people, this is our thing, mm-hmm. that would probably be a slightly better, like if she's accepting it at an Icon Award at the BET Award, the Hip Hop Awards or something like that, like, these are your people, this is the audience that you want to speak to, that probably would have been a slightly better place to do it.
See, the thing is though,
I don't disagree with the message though.
The thing about it is like I agree with that sentiment when we're talking about like what Bill Cosby did. When Bill Cosby was telling black men to pull their pants up and all that other extra stuff, where he was pushing the ideas of the stereotypes and making them grow. To me, this feels like the exact way of what you would do, the way you should do this to give this kind of criticism. To me,
It starts a conversation, but she didn't actually say anything about it.
but I
did
think I don't think you have to do this. I think
No.
the best moments are when you don't have to say anything and a conversation is started.
I think somebody like Erykah Badu is a good person to do this. She's always been extremely creative, and the way that she conveyed the message by just wearing that and not saying anything, I think that was a good choice. I just don't exactly like you wanting to check or criticize other black women in front of all these white folks. But these same black women be shaking their ass in front of all these white folks and performing for them. So I don't know.
And also now we looking at it, the white girls is getting it too. We just had last month we was talking about Alabama Barker and Catch Me Outside. So then both of them, I believe both of them both got work done. I know Catch Me Outside did.
She definitely did. Yeah, I don't know about the other one.
Then I believe Bad Baby did say that Alabama Barker in her song got surgery.
Okay.
I think she said it in her song dissing her. So even the white girls that are trying to get up in these cultures are doing it. Like you see it now with just a lot of the OnlyFans girls. Like white girls are getting done stuff to them, not just the boobs anymore. They getting the bottom done as well.
Yeah.
So I agree with the criticism large because I think what we have done is allowed a checkout feature in a way that we don't know that it's a checkout feature. Because when you engage in like that OnlyFans content, a lot of people don't understand you are getting a lot of the money that you'll ever get in your life up front and losing a lot of it on the back end. And I think it's just important to show what you look like in an augmented form. I think it was also perfect that she received it from Summer Walker.
That was
like that was perfect.
It was ironic. It was not lost upon me that it was Summer. Summer was giving her the award for a reason. Like Erykah Badu was her doula. She helped her birth her twins. Like she was there. So they asked Summer to do it specifically because they're really close. That's another layer of like why I was a little bit hesitant about it, because like even though this criticism, I agree with you, but this is like your baby. She's one of your sons. Check her in private.
But we don't know if she had.
She probably has. I would think Erykah Badu would be like, bitch, stop pumping all that silicone in your body.
To me, it seems as almost, this feels as like a really good friend trying to speak to another. Like, it's not like a parent or like an aunt or something. This is like two friends trying to communicate one thing to another. And
I think more like a mentor-mentee.
You can put it like that too, but that blends sometimes into a friendship realm as well, in regards to like admiration and whatnot. So I agree with it, man. I speak very highly that I think there needs to be more women that are critical of the actions of women as we grow and move into the future.
Yes.
Because if we don't have that, then you hear from a guy like me, and then you can just throw misogyny and he hates women, even though like I can give you a thoughtful analysis, and if it's because it came from my mouth,
it gets difficult because now you're policing women's bodies.
I don't think y'all use that word extremely wrong. Like, every time. Policing your body with me forcing you to do something. Me having a criticism is just a criticism. If you choose to take it or not, then that's different.
When we're using the word on the internet and you're not actually physically near me at all, and you're trying to tell somebody that they should do this instead of that, then
I don't think we have that. I think more people are saying they're just making a criticism of what you're doing. They're not saying you shouldn't or shouldn't be able to do it. It's saying once you've made the decision to do it.
A lot of people are saying you should or shouldn't be able to do it.
I don't think so. I don't think there's a lot of people who are enabling laws. If they do say that, once you actually say that phrase to them and they know what that means behind it, they'll take it back. But I don't think they really want that. All right, so let's stay some more into that realm. We'll get into, I think this is also kind of important, what we're going to kind of dive into, because I feel as though media literacy is at an all-time low right now.
It is. Our reading...
Well, when I say media literacy, this has nothing to do with just actually comprehending words on a page. This is looking at imagery in conjunction with like lyrics and stuff like that, and being able to create a decently understandable statement about something, or questioning something about that, or even just general criticisms about what you're watching. And I think that it really exposed the fact that we need that back in school in this moment here. So there's a song called American Love Song by Momo Boyd. Am I saying her name right?
I don't know how to say her name.
I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I'm not trying to be funny at all. But that's what it looked like, what it said here. And it seemed to go partly because I think people's attention spans are so low, so we're getting like clips passed around. But also I just think people just don't have the knowledge necessary to do like legitimate criticism anymore in regards to, because in her American Love Song story, I saw a lot of women talking about this was a song to further the advancement of, what's the word I'm looking for? Assimilation in regards to blackness, and trying to do this Americanized Black American culture.
My first question about that is, are y'all not African American? What imagery would you be using, especially if you're Southern? I'm from New York. All the Black people I knew were Caribbean and African and things of that nature. So I never understood the whole like pride in the American flag thing until I moved down here. And there are people whose families have been here for generations and generations. This is all they know. This is where they were raised. This is their country. Why would they fucking be ashamed of like?
Well, because when you're
this is what they grew up in. This is their culture.
Well, African Americans have a different relationship with the idea of America more so than other people, because people like a Haitian American comes here generally for a better experience. We were brought here
for better economic opportunities and stuff like that.
We were brought here to be used by this country.
Yes.
And so when we look at things like the Star Stripes and things of that nature, it also pulls the idea of this country never gave us proper reparations. They actually gave the slave owners reparations. Even then after that, when we showed to build ourselves up in Reconstruction, they tore that down. They stopped us from being able to vote. Like, this country has a very tainted relationship with Black Americans. So when we see a Black girl, even if she's not a Black, I don't know what she is, but if we see a Black woman wearing stars and stripes, being on a horse, getting married, all this other stuff in front of a church, we apply that. You're saying America is good. The ideas of America is good. I don't think that's what's going on in her video. I think a large swath of people saw the flag, saw the imagery, and y'all didn't put stuff together correctly.
And then you didn't actually go watch the video or listen to the lyrics in the song at all.
Like, one thing I want to help y'all out with, when you see someone in a solo shot looking at the camera while they're talking or performing, they're doing a criticism of what you're seeing. They're telling you they're aware that they're in a piece of content, a movie, a music video. They're making you aware of that, breaking that wall so that you can now know that this is not to be taken on face value. I don't think people understand that anymore. I think that's so lost on people. And then even when you see her with, she's married, got the white dress on, she's got the flag sweater on, running through the field with the horses and stuff like that. I think those are just imageries that she's pulling from historically to tell the story that she's saying in the song. So I want to do like a lyric breakdown of the song if you want to. You down?
Yeah, but really quickly, do you think that there's no place for American pride in Black people?
I think there's a place for it, but the pride...
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's a complicated relationship. The pride isn't in the country. It's the pride in your resilience.
Yeah.
And so that's why the country isn't necessary.
Can we just not change? I'm not talking about me. I'm not American. But could we just not change like our point of view around it? Could there not be people who are proud of like
the country of America?
How we
the resilience.
Yeah.
I think that's largely what Black culture is being proud of our resilience in the face of adversity, but to shadow that with the flag of America itself feels disingenuous to the history. Because now you're wrapping yourself in something that wanted to chain you.
You ate.
Well, I do.
And then there is a Black American flag. I never use that.
And I think a lot of people were also so to get into her lyrics, I think a lot of people weren't really paying attention because there's a part in here where she says independent and, not being able to talk about being able to love. I think y'all idiots heard that.
Independence and was like, America.
Yeah, they heard independence, love, in America, and you assume that the Black woman was either submitting herself fully or making a criticism of that, in which I don't think she wasn't even talking about. To me, when I read these lyrics, she's not even making a criticism of Black women. She's talking about Black men, or excuse me, she's talking about men in general.
Yeah,
so
American men.
Let's break this down. So the song starts off, what's wrong with love that you choose to give it up? And what's matter with my heart? You decide it's not enough. So from when I'm hearing this is her talking to somebody. She's telling the man, once upon a time, I was your angel sent down to you from above. Once upon a time, you'd catch my eyes and I'd flash a smile just because. These are bars now.
Because you're the guy who makes your mind up. Yeah.
She's the person. That's the person that she wanted to be with. So I think what a lot of y'all don't realize, in the pre-chorus, she says, you said.
Now this is from somebody else's perspective.
And then she
this
goes,
is what he's saying to her.
If I wasn't so American, I might love you more. But giving up my independence goes against my core. If I wasn't so American, I might love you more. But giving up my independence,
I don't think you had to read that twice.
Goes against my core.
She said that twice.
That's hate. But no, I think she's talking about a criticism of man, and she's talking to the man with the same language that we use to talk to women. And when we say women is, my independence, and it's like, that's the same thing you as a man are going through.
Yeah, this is the man that's talking to her though. So the man is saying to her that like, I value my independence more than like what I would get from this relationship, what this love would give me.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is like she's breaking it down in a way where the man is now being checked in a way that isn't known. It isn't done traditionally. So let's go back to some more of the lyrics here.
Then it goes into the bridge. The love is not a privilege. Love is not a right. Sometimes you just don't get it back twice. We all want the next best thing, all of the brave and all of the free. And then she says that again.
So I think then even with the bridge, that's him saying that to her.
Yeah.
Because again, this is honestly, she's calling you niggas sassy.
He's saying
that's what she's doing.
He's saying that like, I know that this is not something that I might get again, but I'd rather be brave and free.
Sassy. That's what it's coming off.
You think that's what it's coming off like?
To me, yeah. I think this is heavily a criticism of the lack that men don't make themselves emotionally available in a way, but then applies that to the women and be like, oh, well, these are what's going on with women. But it's like, no, nigga, you're projecting. This is what's going on with you.
I think she's criticizing men, saying that like maybe like he's holding on to his breath, thinking that there's the next best thing when it might not be.
I think I can see that being explored in this as well. But again, that comes about what men do. Men will treat the women in their life that are really good to them and then go to the next one because they feel entitled to the
I think
the next
that's
one.
something that started with our generation too, in the way that we date. Like, you think that something better is going to be right around the corner, or the grass is going to be greener on the other side, but it don't be. Like, it be ghetto in these streets for real.
Yeah. And I think that's a large part with this. So I think that a lot of y'all should probably go back, reread the lyrics, watch the video again, because it's a really good video.
It is a really good video. And then it goes back into the chorus again, and then the song is done. So there's only one verse.
Yeah, I don't see how y'all got this being like some type of Jess Hilarious calling out the trans women type of thing. Like, I don't see her taking a stand where she's trying to be right wing with this song.
No, not at all.
I think she's kind of making a mockery of it in a way, because she's showing that it's like we have these beautiful imageries, but they're not really sustained by anything. And I think that's what she was kind of.
And then I think that she might be critiquing the types of relationships we have, like as Americans, like the way Americans love each other and American society and how individualistic it is and how selfish we are and how we don't give a fuck about community.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all those points. He knocked it out the park with that one.
Speaking of shitty American men.
The shitties.
Yeah, have you seen what's going on with Anthony Davis and his baby mama?
It's Anthony Edwards.
My bad.
Stop just throwing random. Don't throw black men just here and there.
There is an Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
right?
He played for the Dallas
With
Mavericks.
the unibrow?
Mhm.
Yeah, my bad.
That's
sir.
crazy. Just throwing Anthony's around left and right. That's sick.
AD.
AE.
AE.
Yes.
My goodness. And they sound the same. So his baby mom caught the biggest L of the decade, I think, that we've seen in a while. She tried to get child support in California. They were like, no, you have to get it in Georgia. And then Georgia caps it. So this lady is getting like what, $5,000 a month?
Appreciate that, Georgia.
This lady getting like $5,000 a month. And then Anthony Davis.
Edwards.
Oh my.
Yo, you know what's so funny about this? We watched the Netflix Olympics thing, and she was just so strucken by his
story is so sad. I feel so bad for him. He lost his mom and his sister. I am picturing him in my head. I know who I'm talking about.
He's definitely like, fuck these bitches now. I'm just playing.
Nah, but so this man decided to give this lady a lump sum of 18 years of child support and was like, bitch, get out my face. I never want to see you and that baby ever again.
Okay, so I do want to clarify some things. That's not exactly what happened. So that's been the rumor that's been going around. It's like, oh, he wanted to pay up front or the whole money. And what has happened is a lot of stuff has been convoluted. She released messages in her case about this. Uh-huh. And so that's where it came from, where it was like he was saying, oh, he didn't want nothing to do with the baby, get rid of it, yada, yada. Then he goes to now they're in court. I don't think it's been clarified what the child support is, but the rumor comes out that he wants to pay it up front so that he doesn't have to be bothered with her anymore.
Yeah.
So she actually responded to this. So I have a clip from her right here. So
she about to rub all three of her brain cells together to say some words.
I've also come to realization that there are just certain allegations that I will never, ever beat with you guys. I came into this situation with the status because I have a child by a very successful
You don't have a status.
artist,
Oh
right?
my God, you're so stupid.
From then, I'm viewed as a certain type of woman because I'm beautiful and I have a nice body. And normally women like that attract a certain caliber of men, which is also not my fault. And now that I am in yet another situation where I now have a child with another successful man, there's no telling you guys that I'm not a gold digger.
Because you are. You tried to move to California, bitch.
You guys, it's no beating those allegations at all. The only thing that irritates me is
hold it down.
I read comments that say,
2x
oh,
speed.
you're a gold digger, or you kept the baby for a check. What if I came to y'all's pages, right? And I compared the men that you have children with to the men that I have children with. And I said, you were digging for poverty when you picked him to be your baby daddy, weren't you? Oh, you kept that baby for an extra income tax credit, didn't you? Or you kept that baby for a couple extra $100 in food.
all right, I wanted to come up here and chastise Anthony Edwards a little bit and, call him back. I completely understand. I did the same thing, my nigga. That's the stupidest You are a used for fucking kind of woman, okay? Nobody gives a fuck about anything that you say.
No.
Your words mean nothing. You are there to be on your back. That is your mission in life. Like, wholeheartedly. What you just explained to us, I don't feel bad saying this anymore. What you just explained to us is you told us your job is to be a cum machine for a rich man. That is exactly what you told us. So if you want us to respect you in any kind of capacity, please don't talk anymore. Ever.
Don't say anything ever again.
Because you have to be the epitome of what is wrong with our culture. You are the poster child for the stupid bitch. Respectfully. Because right there, everything that you said shows that there's a reason he treated you like that.
You didn't come in knowing him with any status. You didn't have status.
You have a pussy.
You have a child with a man who has status. You have zero status. Nobody knows you or anything you do outside of having babies with rich niggas.
How are you 38 years old and still that stupid?
I don't understand. That's why before she even started talking, I was like, she about to use all three of her brain cells to rub together to try to make some sentences, because she kept looking up in the corner and trying to get her shit together. Bitch, you talk too slow. That's my indicative, like, that's how I know that you're fucking stupid.
That's how you gauged it?
Yes, that's how I gauge dumb bitches. If you look up in the corner and you take 7 seconds to then come out and say some stupid shit like I already came in with status, when you don't have a career, you don't have a degree, you don't have anything but a child with a nigga who's about to be charged with a RICO.
And the other who don't want you around.
He hates your guts. Let's rewind the beginning of you're stupid. The DMs you put out, the first time y'all linked up, he DM'd you at like 2 a.m.
Five.
You up, you around. And you replied.
Yeah, like, to me, you kind of got the outcome that you wanted, that you was supposed to get.
Girl, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? This man hates your guts.
Like,
and now you have a daughter who is going to have no father whatsoever. None. She gonna be just like you. Hopefully not.
Like, I'm trying to understand, like, how do you hear yourself talk and then you think that any man, in this world will ever look at you as a serious person of something more than just to ejaculate in? Like, that's the part that is so hard for me to fathom. Like, I couldn't imagine that, where like you have this discussion, this talk, where literally you just told us that you are a tool to have sex with at the highest bidder.
Y'all deserve each other.
No, she deserves exactly what she got.
Yeah, because he's not shit. You're not shit either. Neither of y'all are shit. And these are the two perfect people to have been in this situation, because y'all both taught each other very valuable lessons. Anthony needs to stop coming in anything and everything, or this is what's gonna happen. You just gonna have to deal with it. If you want to keep continuing coming and everything, this is what's gonna happen. I mean, so
to be fair, he's the one who's handling his business out of all of this, because he only has one obligation under the law, and that's to pay money, and he's trying to pay that as quickly as possible.
That's what I said. He's dealing with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this whole conversation around accountability and all this other stuff, he is being accountable. He is giving her that ticket. Like, she is the one who didn't care about what her body produced and what the outcome and what they were going to have to experience. I'm sorry. Males ejaculate in females. Females have babies. Ovaries make babies. So
you make babies.
You have to be responsible for what the outcomes you want for your fetus. So if you think that you can have an ideal dad with him, cool. But if you don't, it's on you. Because I've never heard a woman in my life advocate that we change child support into money and the man must spend time with the kid. I've never heard a woman say that in my life. Mm-hmm. All they've ever advocated for was more money. So if you've advocated for money, then that is the outcomes that you get. You have told men for at least 50 years that the most important thing that you can bring is money. So if I can give you the most important thing, I don't have to give you anything else. And that's what you told men. That's what makes an Anthony Edwards.
And then this dumb bitch said, we will never think that she's not a gold digger. You tried to move to the state that gives you the highest payout.
Now that's fly. That's smart.
Yeah, but regardless, that's a smart gold digger move.
But you definitely got that from your mistress, like the girl who's 50 years old that you still listen to, or who's 60 years old you still listen to.
And
that's who told you to do that.
You should have moved there quicker. I don't know how. I don't know what logistically didn't. But the thing is, Anthony filed for everything in Georgia before she was able to. You're so stupid, bitch. You can't even finesse this nigga right.
Well, actually, someone who's experienced this, Georgia will supersede a lot of that. Okay, I'm gonna be dead ass because when I was 17, okay, make sure you're putting that down. 17, turning 18 when they did this, and the state of Maryland had one child support number for me, and the judge looked at it and said, "Nope, you're gonna pay this," and it was done. I remember being in the office and being in the courtroom, and he said the number, and my mom was like, "Nah, we can get that down some more." I said, "Nigga, no." I said, "Nigga, no. We done already got this off. Let's go. Let us go to the house. We can cover that."
He said, "I can swing that."
We can. Don't get this crocker more, man. I got that.
So Maryland wanted a higher number, and then the judge was like, immediately no.
Yeah, the judge was like, "No, there's rules here. So you're in Georgia, so your child support will all go through Georgia laws." So
yeah, I
was like, "Oh, we can play that ticket. Yeah, let's do that one. We there. We can play that. I can handle that." Because I be talking to some niggas, I be like, "Well, how you still living?" Like, that don't make any sense. How much you coming up? Mm-hmm. But nah, I think we knocked that out the park.
My dad better be lucky my mom never put him on child support. She just didn't feel like going through all that.
It's not as bad honestly, when you're a regular guy, it's not as bad as people make it seem because it's only based off of what you can pay. Mm-hmm. It only feels like a lot when you can pay a lot. So that's why I don't never feel sorry for men when they have to go through this.
And then a lot of men,
rich men.
We got a lot of daddies that's hustlers, and they income don't be announced on the W-2s all the time.
Yeah, you definitely finesse that a particular
daddies
way.
be having movements, so
yeah, cross state, man. That I'm not going to encourage it, but some good things happening there. Like, cross state handling, young.
What we got to get into next?
So let's get into the college environment. I think this kind of bleeds into what we were talking about a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a New York Times article that was going around, and it was discussing the apparent and quite obvious differential between black men and women in college. So I'm going to open it up here. I want to read a little bit of the report because
please do.
Only 19% of Howard students are black men. Those enrollment levels at a four-year college have plummeted across the board. So before stepping foot on Howard University, Skylar Wilson knew she would see more women than men. But just how many were stunned, but just how many more stunned her. Howard, one of the most elite historical black colleges and university in the nation, is only 25% men, 19% black men. I was like, wow, said Ms. Wilson, a 20-year-old junior. How is that possible? And then it kind of goes into her story and her experience regarding that. I think one thing to say is that black men account for 26% of the students at HBCUs, down from already low 38% in 1976, according to the American Institute of Boys and Men. There are now about as many non-black students attending HBCU as there are black men. And what they were just kind of discussing was not only just the rising or the lowering enrollment rates of black men at HBCUs, that's kind of going on in colleges in general. Mm-hmm. But it sparked a large conversation, and it also kind of explored the ramifications in the dating scene, because when you're not dealing with someone of a particular ilk, as you could say, you may be kind of hard to foster a relationship. Like, I think one of the good examples that I kind of use in that is me being a black man. A lot of times they don't have the similar ideals that I have already shared when I was like really young, like middle school. Like, good examples, an idea about gay people. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that connected us very early on was you being down here in Georgia and dating somebody who did not have an open issue with homosexuality or gay people in general.
Yeah, because moving from New York to Georgia, I came across way more homophobic men down here than I did up there. And it was really like, I didn't like it.
And a large part of that,
I don't want you to have a problem with gay people.
yeah, a large part of that stems from a lack of education out here. And if you have a discussion with men who go to college, have a more tolerant view of homosexuality than a man who didn't go to college, because you get to experience that. You're around these people. There's organizations and things like that.
They're part of your community. You have no choice but to let them be a part of your community, because like these are college groups, they're college organizations,
and you see the people beyond more than their label.
Yeah,
and I could have a real reason to be homophobic, honestly, because when I went to one of like the little gay little organizations they had at college, I remember when they asked us to write a label describing ourselves, and I put a black man, and the boy behind me was like, "Oh, that's all." And I'm like, "Yeah, nigga, what you mean? I didn't say your little ass need to change your little ass shit." I'm sorry. It made me think about what was going on, and it bothered me.
You gotta bleep that out.
I am. But I'm just saying, like, that shit bothered me. And that could have been a reason why I'm like, bro, how you gonna come here and talk about my identity when I'm over here trying to show that I'm approving of yours?
That's you probably definitely could have had beef with that one man, but not with the
whole classroom, like
the whole LGBTQ community. Like, come on now.
But no, I think that is one example of what happens here. And I just think that the conversation for me far too often focuses on, oh my God, black women don't have black men to date. Oh my God. Instead of understanding, like, black men are being put into positions where they can't value the long term. Like, that's a lot of issues with what's going on with a lot of black men. When they come out, I just remember being in college, and even though I knew, my parents were helping me, I was in classes doing things like that, the fact that I didn't have the money to do the things that I want to do made me feel like other people looked at me as less. Even though I'm a broke college student.
Everyone is generally broke.
But when you're a black man living that, it's not like you are broke just at that point in your life. You 9 times out of 10 probably come from a family where it was struggling. So like for me, it wasn't like that. I came from having, and then now I'm on my own trying to figure it out. It's a lot of people who come from, I'm already on my own. Like, I got friends in high school who had to buy their own shoes. I never knew what that was. What, nigga, I just get some good grades and I'll get some shoes.
Yeah.
You had to steal that from somebody to sell it to then get that's crazy. But then in the same token, it's hard for me to judge him, because when your mom told you to do good in school, you still was hungry after you did good in school. When my mom told me to do good in school, we went out to buffets. I came home with gadgets and toys. So your mom couldn't validate her raising the way my mom could. So I understand and have empathy for that for people, because that's a tough road to walk, where you are the one who have to validate your own actions at a young age like that. And so I just don't think we have enough empathy. I want to read some of these tweets here, because I don't feel like the empathy for black men in these situations. So like, here's one tweet that was kind of discussing the whole thing. Kind of wild how the gap in black male presence in schools, university, and professional setting is a widely observed phenomenon, but is largely discussed as a consequence of black men's individual failures instead of a result of their systemic oppression. And that's the truth. A lot of these women who were criticizing this were criticizing as men choosing not to be educated, choosing not to value education, when you don't know what other things are going on in their life. Like, they try to make it seem like it's indicative of the culture and not a byproduct of limitations.
That's disingenuous. It's not true. They didn't mention why black men weren't enrolling in schools as much. They just...
How can you encourage somebody who's grown up poor to take a loan out for something that they know, when they look at other people not getting into their careers, it's not a guarantee.
It's not. Degrees are not guaranteed at all.
Like, the best thing college gives you is, like you said, an environment. Yeah, an environment to be around people to learn how to do things. But that doesn't mean you're going to be successful.
Yeah. If you are doing college correctly, you're making connections with people. You're in the same classes. You're like, you're getting connections from your professors, because your professors might have been in that field before. Like, you're doing internships. You're this is the time that you can do unpaid work so that when you finally get out in the field, you have a list of things that qualify you for getting a job. Even with that, it's not going to work. The job market right now is horrible. Everyone is talking about it. There are people with master's degrees. There are people who are highly qualified, and people like niggas is just not hiring.
But that was been going on even longer though. For decades, that's kind of been a running theme.
Yeah, so you might make it out of the hood, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get that loan, graduate, get your degree, and then for the next 3 years, you're applying and drowning in debt.
And then you can also apply. We have the fact that we have forces in our country that are actively discussing college as a brainwashing tool and all this other stuff. Like there's tons of things why people would be pushed back, that it's like, you can't blame them if they grew up in this environment that painted school or college or education as either something that they aren't worthy enough to obtain, or it's something that's only going to take you away from your own truth.
Mm-hmm.
And
when it couldn't be farther from the truth. Like college is the place where you develop your own ideas and you get enough information to actually change your view on the world, and you realize that the things that you were taught growing up might not be what you agree with, and that there are so many other viewpoints that you could be looking at things from. And that's where you really like start to know how to critically think. It's extremely important, and it's the complete opposite. Brainwashing is not what's happening in college whatsoever. College is sitting down and having discussions with like-minded and not like-minded individuals. And you know how many arguments you get into, especially if you're like a journalism major. All of college is sitting in class arguing with people and the professor letting you know the facts, and then us interpreting things and thinking about things the way we do.
Mm-hmm. And I think the one part too, I feel like doesn't get discussed in regards to the aspect of dating. Like I say, we get described it about the women not having options, but we also don't discuss the fact that it creates a minority of men in our culture that feel that the women that are available are disposable.
Oh,
yeah, it does. Because what do you hear all the time when, especially after the Kevin Samuels thing? Oh, I'm a 6 foot. I'm 6 foot, 6 figure earner. 10% of our culture. So when you put people in that 10%, or I forgot the dude who did the talented 10th or whatever, when you create that ideal, then
like
when
a caste system.
when I go out and I look and I see, well, there's 20 women here and only one to one man. Well, I don't have to look at these women like they have to look at me. I'm not a dime a dozen. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. I'm a rarity.
Yeah.
And what does that create? An ego. Then the ego's not even based off of you being good in school. It's about the fact that you're just there.
We agree that men thinking they're the prize is the problem.
No, I don't think there's nothing wrong with you thinking it's a prize. It's just, it's a systematic prize that's created off of, I want to say, a degree of BS, because it's not really you accomplishing anything. It's just you being in a better position than other people.
Yeah, not the prize.
No, niggas are still going to be the prize, especially if you have a certain amount of capital and money. And because the fact that how we're socially engineered to engage, the man is going to give you something. You are just going to bear something for him. So there's a prize, and because what he does validates what you'll choose to do in a sense. So you're still the prize. I'm just saying, when you have a limited number now, just because I went to college and graduated, I can now assume to myself to be better than others, when that's not necessarily the case. Because that person could be really good at handiwork and make a lot of money doing handiwork. And now, because you got a particular degree in something, that limits you. But you then can put yourself in all of these BS categories that don't really mean you're doing something substantial. And we create these guys who have this overblown ego, who don't feel like negotiating with our female counterparts is conducive for them, or something that's warranted them. Because why would I do this? There's bound to be another woman that's going to fit what I need.
Yeah.
And y'all don't have it on the same end.
Yeah. No, not at all. There's less. It seems like there's less options for us. So that, I mean,
statistically speaking, it's not even just seems. It's a statistical thing. If you are a black woman and you want to date black men, and you want that black man to be of a similar college education than you, it's going to be limited. it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be limited financial wise, because granted, going to college for black men does hurt us not going to college for black men does hurt us, because you enter the workforce with a limited amount of experience and skills.
Next thing you know, you working for Amazon.
But I'm saying even then you are pushed out as a lower skilled worker in the capitalism system that we have currently. So it limits you. You can make money. No one's saying you can't. We're talking about
niggas can still weld and carpent and all that stuff, but niggas just be driving the Amazon truck.
I mean, sometimes that welding shit be tough for some niggas though. Like a lot of niggas, you just because you can read the instruction, just because you can read the instructions on the welding machine, don't mean you can do it. That's some art. That's like playing with the clay. Mm-hmm. You know, when they make the vases and stuff.
Welding is definitely a skill.
I think that
it
too,
takes talent.
We too talk about this when we say like, oh, why don't you go get a trade? As if like just because you tell niggas to go get a trade, they're going to be proficient in it. Nigga, no.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Even if you did, I promise you, it's some of you niggas that can practice all y'all fucking life. Y'all ain't never going to hit on shit. And that's just life. Sorry. And that's okay. I think that we need to go more into the systemic issues in regards to that, but that's okay. Some niggas ain't going to hit. It's just a matter of how life is. Some of
y'all are just losers.
Well, to have winners, you got to have losers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't talk about a winning system and then get mad that there are going to be losers in the system, especially when the system wasn't designed for them niggas to win.
Not at all, yeah.
Your girl, Chappell Roan, she was on Call Her Daddy. Mm-hmm. And she got a lot of negative, I guess, tweets and comments about her because of some things that she was saying.
Yeah.
About being a pop star and all this other stuff.
Do you have the clip so we can play it for the people?
I think this is it right here.
People expect me to play by different rules because I'm gay and I should be more politically correct about that, and I should actually be way more knowledgeable about it. And so I get asked a lot of fucking crazy questions that a lot of my peers would not get asked. And that's because I'm gay. And that's because like I have like my opinions, but that doesn't mean I'm like completely like I don't know everything about every topic I have opinions on. Like I don't know everything about like being gay. Like I don't know everything about being a woman. I don't know everything about fucking fashion or drag or performing. Like I try to know everything I can, but like when I don't answer a question correctly or like I don't acknowledge one community, it's like how can I do it all? Like
you can't.
How can these girls tour, write, perform, interview, sleep, eat and fucking work out, and like how can they do it all and lead a team and be a boss and pay people and like and be like fucking so politically educated? It's
exhausting.
And it's also impossible. Also, why the fuck are you looking to me for some political answer? You think I have the fucking answer?
But you're like, listen to my song, bitch. Turn it up.
Like, I'm a pop star. I wish I had the answers. I wish the president was a pop star. But she's not.
Now we finna hit the...
Oh, man.
She's been getting a lot of backlash for that because, first of all, that's like your quintessential white feminist. Like she cares about the things that have to do with her, but then groups outside, like she said, then she doesn't know much and she doesn't care. She doesn't think that you should turn to her for anything. Chappell, it's really weird because from what I know, her on her way up was like very political. She stood with drag queens. She talked about what was going on with like them trying to demonize drag. She brought drag queens up with her. When you're doing that, is that not inherently political?
I think there is a degree to that, especially when you're doing it in light of policies and activists who are trying to stop them from doing it.
You're standing up with them and next to them.
Yeah.
On a regular, but you've lined yourself up with their fight. You call yourself a drag queen too sometimes. Like you present as a drag queen. You take their whole aesthetic. So then to turn around and be like, I can't know everything about everything, but it's your responsibility to fucking do so. You can't cosplay the community and then like not know everything.
I think, to me, I don't think it's her responsibility to know everything. I think it's her responsibility as a person who's leaned on the side that she's leaned on to have empathy. And I think in regards to what she's saying, the people who are being heavily critical because you missed a group of people or you said this against people, like, those are so few and far between. Mm-hmm. I would care to even argue that a lot of those people are probably bots or don't even really matter if they're being super hyper fixated on the words you're saying. If your words lead with empathy, then you're all right, regardless of what you're doing. And if that's, to me, if that's where you're not doing and that's where your criticism is coming from, then you deserve it. But this idea of trying to hyper focus on the people who are quote unquote on your side, but are being critical of you, it's a BS tool that a lot of people use so that they don't actually have to be accountable for anything.
Do you think that she seemed like genuine in this clip at all, or that
I think she's genuinely confused and like genuinely maybe has a place where she wants to feel like she's doing the right thing, but maybe to her it feels like it's too much to do the quote unquote right thing. Again, I think she's overcomplicating and filling herself up a little bit because you know people who you talk to that's on bull. Like when I'm joking around and I'm like being hyper fixated on a particular topic or point, you can tell those people when they're on BS. And if you can't, that probably goes to more of you not being actually around people. Like that, to me, like it's not hard to decipher that. And like when she says that, it makes me think about like people like Joe Rogan and stuff who like are super critical of what other people say about them. And not understanding is like your words have meaning. And if you're using your words in a way that is antithetical to the positions that you stood beforehand, of course, criticism will follow. Like that just seems like a normal behavior to me. Like I think she's like trying to say like she made like a situation where she said, "I love you guys," and we're like, "Oh, it's girls here," like that, you know, like them kind of stupid stuff. Like I feel like she's trying to be hyper focused on a person who would be like, hey, "There's girls in here too, not just guys." And like that person is so few and far between. They're a vocal minority and they don't move the needle. But because it hurts your feelings or they said something that hit too close to the truth. You know, I do that a lot with people where I'll say something to you that I probably shouldn't know, or I deduce something by your actions and things of that nature. And then I get a reaction from that person because I hit the nail on the hammer, and it affects people differently.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So if you were a pop star, do you feel like you could handle the rigors and the stress that would come with this?
Probably not.
I think you'd be crying all the time.
I'd probably break down in tears on a regular basis.
It would probably be like a normal thing for you to just cry during interviews.
But also, I would be on live crashing out all the time like Ari Lennox.
More like Cardi.
Like Ari Lennox used to. No, like Ari Lennox used to. Not like Cardi.
No, I definitely see you doing a space by yourself, just talking to yourself for like an hour.
No, I would definitely be on live, just like
that's doing the same thing.
Talking shit.
See, the reason why I could see the live is because live you can see yourself while you're talking, and that's part of your narcissism.
Yes, I would have to look at myself.
You want to look at yourself while you're talking.
Mm-hmm. I can't get with the Twitter Spaces.
Like Farrah is you remember when Kanye was performing, he said his only regret is he'll never be able to witness his own performance. That's fair.
Yeah, you could watch it back.
So this week was really, really interesting. First off, we had to give a shout out to your biggest op in politics, Mitch McConnell. He is retiring.
I'm not going to say anything because you told me to stop wishing death on people.
There we go. We're getting better.
We're getting there slowly but surely.
But Mitch McConnell, your old ass is out of here. That's not a threat. That's just celebratory.
Celebrating, yeah.
Yeah, celebratory. But you can always do this, Mitch. the day that man checks expires, I'm gonna let you get your shit off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you get your shit off that day.
I'm gonna.
But I was talking to
pop champagne on the show.
I was talking to my dad the other day, and I was like, he's literally been in public office my entire life.
That should not be allowed. You know what he looks like? You know that character, I don't know from what movie, but he be holding his eyes like this.
Mitch. No, that's a nasty man. But
how long do you think you could talk for without stopping?
Talking about me?
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd probably be
I
tough.
say probably at least 12 hours.
Without stopping?
Yeah. Because you talk.
To me, I probably can go, probably about 12. I probably could do one 12-hour show.
This nigga could talk. Like as soon as I open my eyes in the morning, babe, I'll be like, oh my God, please. I just
Sleep is for the quiet
eyes.
part. Sleep is for the quiet part.
No,
Once you up, it's time to talk.
I need at least 20 more minutes after I get up of just minimal words. This nigga be up for 3 hours by the time I got up. Now he has so many words built up inside him that literally as soon as he hears me start moving, he starts saying words and I'm like, no, please stop.
I would think you would have the words because you're the one with the brain who's still functioning while she's sleeping.
No, I like to get up and then I need to load for at least 20 minutes.
So what you're saying is you couldn't pull a Cory Booker?
No.
So if y'all not aware, Senator Cory Booker, I think he's in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
It is Senator Cory Booker, who, I'll be honest with y'all, long-standing op of mine. He was. When I saw him with Rosie O'Dawson, I knew I was going to have to fight him one day.
You didn't even say her name right.
Rosario Dawson?
Okay. You said Rosie O'Dawson,
I
Rosie
did say
O'Donnell.
I did say an American, huh? Rosario Dawson. But when I seen him with her, I was upset because that is my celebrity crush. And when when I was seeing Cory out here popping it, I'm like,
let me tell you something about Rosario Dawson. This nigga has the whole time we've been together a naked, fully pussy out photo of Rosario Dawson.
It's tasteful.
Pussy out photo of her as his background. The first time he met my mother, my mom saw his phone. She was fucking taken aback.
And then I explained the artistic significance.
And she still didn't give a fuck.
She hasn't watched the movie yet.
And I had to be like, just don't worry about it after, because she mentioned it after.
She should watch the movie.
You're just so embarrassing.
She should watch the movie.
That's embarrassing as fuck. How you meeting your girlfriend's family for the first time and you leave the naked woman in the background on your phone? You didn't even think about that. You could have just changed it to black.
I don't even change
embarrassing as hell.
I don't change it when I'm around my nephews.
Embarrassing.
Just stay out my phone. So Cory Booker he broke the record for a Senate speech held. So he was talking for what they kind of gather around 24 hours. Now, the way that they do this is what I was reading up, because it's not necessarily a full 24 hours.
Yeah.
They stop they allow him to talk until I think he started at 6 or 7 at night. It goes into when they close, and then it goes into the next day.
Okay.
So, but that time still
so he got to sleep.
Yeah, he got to leave, sleep, come back.
Okay, period. That
also,
this
is my dad was telling me when we were talking about this. He said during questions, he can go and use the bathroom. So there are people who are else up there talking with him.
Yeah.
And during those times, he can go back.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he had over 1,000 pages of documents prepared to discuss. Essentially what he went up there was he exposed the Republicans verbally of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
He exposed Donald Trump and exposed Elon, which again, these are a lot of talking points that everyone has been saying.
Yeah.
But to essentially do what's the equivalent of an American politician doing the equivalent of a monk burning himself.
Like a Hail Mary.
Yeah, this is what he was doing.
Yeah.
Essentially was getting a tons of people. And his live stream was booming too. It was doing good numbers.
It was emotional to watch.
It's tough. When you just imagine what you're doing. Most people can't stand 5 minutes doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine telling them they have to sit 20 some odd hours discussing a point, and he kept a lot of the vigor with them.
He did. I watched some clips of what he was saying towards the end. He still had a lot of energy and passion, and you could hear like in his voice that he really believed in what he was saying, and he felt like he had to do this.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of things we can get into it. So obviously we can discuss the kind of political theater elements of it, because it was definitely full of that. He even talked about training for this. Like, he was saying how he wasn't drinking water or as much water. He was limiting his water and food intake leading up to this moment so that he wouldn't have to worry about, you know, his body being the enemy in that moment and taking him down. Because you just imagine he would have passed out up there.
That would have been crazy.
And I stand with it only on one accord, and it's because the person whose record he broke was a person who was trying to dispute the Civil Rights movement, the Civil Rights Act, and did a 24-hour on the Senate floor as well. And for you as a black man to now usurp that record that was essentially in discussion to keep you from doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah. And
To
you're
then
doing the opposite of what that person was doing.
to now use your platform in that moment to at least address the opposite of what that individual was doing so many decades ago. I think it's in the realm of what this stands for, you know, mainstream wise. I think it was a good job. I know in the grand scheme of things, it was just baseless theater. It was him, you know, just doing a passive protest in a way.
Yes.
But I'm not looking at Cory Booker for doing anything revolutionary.
So do you think that this was more of him trying to set himself up to run for some type of office in the future?
100% this is a 2028 presidential play for the long haul. Literally, that's what all of the Democratic stand accounts were talking about. So, oh, he's setting himself up for president. This will be a good, and I think it could be a good way of pushing yourself in position, at least from the understanding that, like, a lot of people don't understand, like, most of America don't vote. So you really only have to appeal to that some odd people. I think about 50% of us vote for the roughly, maybe less than that. Because, yeah, roughly probably less than us, 50% people vote out of the population. So you're not necessarily trying to galvanize, you know, like an artist would, or like someone who's trying to sell a big time product. You have to appeal to a certain kind of people. And I think these actions appeal to them. They feel like you're on their side. Now, when you go into, you know, who's Cory Booker's funded by, he's just like every other politician.
Like, that's when you go when you go try to dig into the money, it's always disappointing.
Yeah, that's where it kind of hurts you. I will say this though, Cory Booker is ahead of Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries should quit. He should step down from his position as leader, and him and Chuck Schumer. I think Chuck Schumer's the other person, right? I think Chuck Schumer's the other minority. He might be the minority leader. Both of them niggas need to step down because y'all two are compromised. We seen the picture with you and Trump, Chuck. And Cory, I think this is a good opportunity that Cory could probably take over. Because, again,
about 66% of Americans vote. It's a little bit over 50.
Yeah, so a little bit over. Again, that's still only a small amount of people.
Yeah, that's not.
Not a small amount of people, excuse me. That's not the majority. It is a majority, but it's not everybody. Is basically what I'm saying.
No, it's definitely not.
You don't have to win over everybody. You just got to win over 60% of the people.
Yeah.
And not even that. 30% of the 60%. You just got to get half of them on your side. Over half of them on your side in the right spots. So I think that that's what it is. It's a lot of caveats.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah, it's a lot of caveats that you have to do. But I mean, it's better than what Gavin Newsom doing sitting down with Charlie Kirk. You didn't see that interview?
No.
Oh my God, it was so disgusting.
I don't even know who Charlie Kirk is.
Charlie Kirk is the Giga Chad looking guy.
Giga Chad? Oh my God.
He's a really ugly looking white guy.
I know exactly what he looks like since you
remember the when they had the one conservative and the 20 liberal college students? Him. The one who had the ugly smile and all that stuff. That's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is probably one of the worst human beings of all time.
Okay.
But no, Gavin Newsom's chopping it up with them, not really being a beacon of, I don't want to say truth, but he's letting him get a lot off that probably he's only doing so that he can feel like he's trying to galvanize a fraction of the right. And I don't think Gavin Newsom's a good guy, good dude. I don't think he's handled California the best way. I think he has had limitations, but I don't think overall he's handled California. So I would like to see Cory be the person that can kind of take that standpoint. If we are going to have anybody do it for the Democrats, it probably should be him.
I agree.
All right.
What else is going on in the politics?
But I will say this with the Cory thing. We know what you're doing. We not fooled on it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like you are the second coming of Obama. Well, you might be in the sense of what Obama was doing, yeah, in a technical sense.
We'll see what he does over the next 4 years too, and
that's the only thing. He's a cornball, and I think that's where his problem is.
You have to be, like you said before, politics is definitely theater, and you have to be charismatic.
No,
and
but
people can't think you're corny.
Yeah, he's corny amongst the corny people.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that people were saying about Jason Tatum and why he can't be the face of the NBA, because he gives goofball. Like, he's corny and niggas don't want to be him. So, period, you're not going to be that guy. You're not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right.
that might be the same thing for Corey.
Okay, so let's get into do some rapid fire.
Got your bitch though.
With these, we do have some wins that we got to talk about though. Hey, don't talk about me like that. That still hurts me when I see that little cornball nigga. Then she went to Eric Andre's. Like, come on, I'm right.
Another
like
guy
right
that you like really, really, really liked.
Yeah.
Until
he's a Zionist, so. But I'm in between both of them. Like, I'm the perfect in between Eric Andre and
So go find her then.
I did.
Get the fuck off me. Go find Rosario Dawson and ask her to marry you. I'll knock all this shit over right now.
I found my Farrah.
Because you talking about, oh, I'm right here. No, the fuck you're not.
I got my Farrah Dawson.
Get your fucking light skinned hands away from me right now, nigga.
Come here, my Farrah Dawson. My Farrah. You don't like that?
We sign out.
We gonna end the show already. All right, so just to kind of we got to talk about a big win that happened in Wisconsin. So there was a Supreme Court election that was going on for one of the Supreme Court justices.
Was that where Elon was?
Yeah, that's why Elon was buying votes in Wisconsin.
Was that not insane?
What's crazier is the courts there didn't stop it. They had an opportunity to stop it.
Do you think you'd be that evil if you were that rich?
To me, at this point, that don't even feel like evil. In a sense, it's just like, if they're going to let you do evil. It. I'm saying, if he was doing it during the presidential election.
He was literally live streaming him buying American votes. That's so crazy to me. I was like, where are we?
He's had two people come up there that he gave $1 million to. The crux of it is, the guy that he gave the $1 million to, he was the Wisconsin Collegiate Republican chairman. So clearly, he's in on the fix.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the girl is going to get exposed to. Like, I don't think those checks will cash. Like, that's going to be checks that they put in their house and like, oh, this one Elon gave me $1 million.
I would have took that big ass check straight to the bank.
You know how I know that that wasn't real? Because when what's this dude from Amazon, Jeff Bezos, gave that one brother $100 million, he's still crying to this day. You know the dude that was crying about when Biden came back into office and all that stuff?
Yeah, but he didn't actually get the money?
He did get the money.
Okay.
From my knowledge. We ain't heard from him since.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear from me after I got $100 million. Nigga, I'm tucking.
That's how I know them two people up there, when they got that million, is not real. They ain't cry. They wasn't happy. They were just sitting there, thanks, Elon. That's all that was going on.
Well, 1 million and 100 million are two different numbers.
What? If somebody give you $1 million and you're a rural Wisconsinite?
Yes, that's amazing, but 100 million, that's going to change my family for generations to come.
Well, technically, he was supposed to use that money to help the...
I'm not using that for shit, nigga.
That's crazy.
We up.
That's crazy.
Where the soundboard at? Give me horns. I'm taking that back to Haiti, and I'm building things. Yeah. We up as a country. I'm not doing shit for whatever you gave me the money for over here. If you niggas ever give me money, I'm taking it straight to Haiti. Like, straight there.
All right. That was crazy. To me, it was so much nutso shit that was going on with Elon. Like, he talked about saying no judge should be able to stop the president. Bro,
checks and balances?
Do you not know what goes? You're a South African, so you don't understand that we have like parameters. We have 3 branches of government, not one.
For a reason.
Like, we have one to stop the up. That's literally what it was meant here to do.
If nobody can check the president, we don't have a president. We have a dictator.
If no one could check the president, we wouldn't have student loans anymore. Because the last president got stopped by every judge. You never called them activists.
Okay.
Every time he had another option, y'all went to a judge and then a judge stopped it. So why does that matter now? When is what is this idea?
Because the judges are trying to stop them from doing their evil shit.
I just want to know why he thinks this is, I don't know. Maybe these people really aren't American. Maybe they don't really believe in these principles. They just want an overlord. Like, I'm really starting to think that.
I don't think they believe in any principle other than I want as much as possible.
Are you talking about Elon, or I'm talking about the people who hear him say that and think that's right?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Elon.
No, I'm saying
no, they can't actually know or believe in American values whatsoever because
you can't.
That's the most un-American thing.
Even when it comes to what's going on with the lack of due process with the mass deportation, like being an American is believing in due process. Like that is a fundamental idea of being an American. And it's goes to show the lengths that they'll use the idea of being American as a dog whistle for you're white.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in any of the principles,
dog whistle at this point.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if you don't believe if you don't believe in the principles of America, how do you call yourself an American? You're just like a supremacist, really.
You're a white supremacist.
Because we were based upon these ideals. It's just it's insane to me just to kind of to see how it works. But Elon failed though. Like he failed at his mission. The Democrat judge won by a lot too.
Good. And then there was something else you were telling me earlier about Elon and them limiting his.
Oh, so there was some reports that was going. This is what I was going to kind of lead into. I think him losing this election was the straw that broke the camel back because now it's kind of showed that you're just a piggy bank. You can't galvanize people. And the more you've been front facing with all your little Fox interviews, all of your claims that you have all this evidence and all this stuff. I saw one tweet where he talked about, we located a government official who was spending tons of money on golf. Then he deleted the tweet.
Was it Trump?
You know it. That's exactly who it was. That's exactly who it was. Niggas told him.
He said, my bad.
Big Balls came over there and said, hey, bro, we got a whole bunch of golf trips over here. We need to see who this is. He's like, all right, come back to me in 10 minutes with the name, Big Balls. Trump.
I was like, yeah, that was probably Trump.
That's when Big Balls came back and said, it was Trump. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't see that part. He put it under a different name. He was trying to hide it. My bad.
He only read the headline, didn't read the article.
But no, I think he's lost his position. Like, I think he's lost his good graces because essentially the articles that I was reading were saying that that Trump basically told the cabinet that Elon has done what he's needed to do, and now we're moving into the next phase of the presidency or whatever. And I just think they just showed like you can't be as front facing, and a lot of the stuff that you got done, you didn't have to be here to do. Yeah, and a lot of it got repelled. So you brought no fear to the people to stop you, and as time has only progressed, you've only shown yourself to be more and more of an incompetent fool. In the large scale of being public opinion. Like the clown had a chainsaw with the president of was it Argentina? I believe it was Argentina. And these clowns, what? Oh, I had the chainsaw.
You had both your thumbs out.
No, I was doing the chainsaw. Okay. And it's like, and these clowns, these clowns over here acting nuts on stage like they full of ketamine.
They are.
Now, he is, but I'm just saying that's what I was acting.
This nigga just be moving his jaw. You ever see him?
Oh, for sure. He's on a bender every day. He wakes up on a bender. Allegedly. He wakes, and then Ashley won't shut up. His baby mama. She back in the news again. I got some tweets from Ashley.
What Ashley been saying?
You really isn't an embarrassing African, bro. Like, you come over here.
I don't even like you calling him African.
But he is, though. He's an embarrassing African, yo.
Because they not from there.
They not, but he grew up there.
You came somewhere and then you were like, this is ours now. This is where we are. They white peopled it up.
All right, so I got a tweet from Ashley. This was from her on March 31st, okay? Elon, we asked you to confirm paternity through a test before our child, who you named, was even born. You refused. And you weren't sending me. I hate when they do this one. This is what no matter what color the baby mama, they love this line right here. And you weren't sending me money. You were sending support for your child that you thought was necessary until you withdrew most of it, until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for disobedience. But you're really only punishing your son. No, I'm punishing you. Because you're still going to feed him. You're still going to clothe him. I'm punishing you. I hate when they do that. Don't stop. That's not true. It's ironic that your last effort in court was trying to gag me while you use social media channel you literally own to distribute derogatory messages about me and our child to the entire world. It's all about control with you, and everyone can see it. America needs you to grow up, you petulant man-child.
Yeah.
Ashley ate. She ate with that. Shout out to Ashley, yo. Yeah. Hey, pull yourself up by your clit, Ashley. I respect it.
What? That's not even something you can pull yourself by.
Pull yourself up by your clit.
At least the labias.
Pull it up.
You have more.
I respect it.
Wingspan on the labias.
And so, wingspan on the labias. So she did an interview too where she talked about selling her Tesla.
I thought you were going to say something else.
What? Selling her ass?
Yeah.
Oh no, she sold her Tesla. And so Laura Loomer posts about her selling the Tesla or whatever. And Elon goes, I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I'm not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I have given Ashley $2.5 million and I'm sending her $500K a year.
Oh, how do you not know if the child is yours if you done test tubed and made the children in the lab every time you wanted one?
Apparently, maybe he stroked her. That's what this is sounding more and more like.
Oh my God.
It sounds more and more like he stroked her.
I think he made the Tesla trucks look like that because that's what he's built like. Imagine getting fucked by a Tesla truck.
You said that before. That's crazy. That's nuts.
She was getting fucked by a Tesla truck.
But that's not a bad gig though. You got a 2.5 coming bonus, and then you got $500K a year to raise the seed. That's legit. I'm better than WNBA numbers.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. That's a good.
100%. She don't have to work no more. She could put the 2.5 in a high yield savings that could pay her out another whole salary. She good.
Yeah, she's straight. Why do you need to hold on? Like this goes back to the Anthony Edwards situation. What are you doing here? You're good. If he stopped paying the money, then I understand because according to her, the money stopped.
Yeah, that's probably what she's upset about.
Don't let him do you like. Don't let him give you less either, Ashley. You probably need to go up now. This is further embarrassment. You might need an M a year. No lie.
No, probably.
100%. You need
I
to
hope
get it.
You get that. Bleed them dry.
And I need for y'all, when we have these discussions about these white folks, is create the conversations like y'all do with the black people. Like with the Anthony Edwards, like we talked about earlier. And y'all could call him all sorts of names and deadbeats and stuff and have like these long, drawn out, conversations. Do this about Elon. Mm-hmm. He's on the same shit. It's just a higher payout.
Him and Nick Cannon are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
creating broken homes and blah, blah, blah.
To be fair, I think Nick Cannon does require a little bit of a game, as some would say, to do the way he's doing it. This don't take game. If you can give a girl $2.5 million off the claim, I done paid the chick off the claim too before. If you paying the chick off the claim,
what situation were you paying the chick off what claim? Oh,
that's what I'm saying. I paid the chick off the claim, but $500K.
You are a fucking mess.
I'm just saying, $500K.
You were talking about something else.
I'm just saying, 500 racks a year, 2.5 million off the claim. That's nuts. If I could do that, I'd be splashing on everything too.
But just don't.
But who's it matter?
Because the thing is,
I can pay a $2 million ticket and $500K to a woman, and I not even think about it.
Irresponsible.
I'm the richest man in the world. There's no such thing.
There's no
such thing
as irresponsibility.
No, it's not. No,
we
it's
disagree.
not.
You can
There's
still
no such
you
thing.
can still spend in a stupid way even when you're rich.
Irresponsible defines the way that the problem cannot be fixed because of what the action that you did.
You can overspend and spend money on stupid shit.
You can't overspend if there's still more money
on
left.
stupid shit.
But I'm saying if there's
if
still
you're
more,
rich, that's stupid shit.
If
you just coming and everything.
If you went to if you had the card, right, unlimited access, and you spent money on shopping, right, you did your big one, and then there's still $2.5 million in the account, or 10 million in the account, or 50 million in the account, you didn't do nothing. Because there's tons of money still there. So what are we talking about?
You can still spend stupidly even if you have a bunch of money.
I feel like stupidly is
That's
only,
why I changed it to stupidly.
I think stupidly only is justified if the outcome means you're not living the same way you were living after the purchase. Mm-hmm. If I'm still the same way after the purchase, then I'm lit. I'm good.
That's fair. What else do we got?
Are we scared about Trump? Oh, well, hold on. We still got to stay with Elon real quick. So, and this is where we can finish it up right here. We don't got to talk about Trump's third term.
Okay, good.
But Hassan sat down with Elon's daughter. So are you familiar with Hassan, right? The streamer?
Yes.
You said that the girl said he looked beefy.
Mm-hmm. We talked about him last week, right?
I think we talked about him in person when I said what happened. So
okay.
Elon called him a fraud on X. And the thing about Hassan, he's not an idiot. So when you try him, he's not going to just go in front of his screen like a Myron or like these stupid, right wing, red pill type of dudes and yell. That's not what Hassan's going to do. Like Hassan is going to call your transgender daughter and have an interview with her on his stream.
Chess, not checkers.
That's what Hassan's going to sit here and ask your daughter questions like this.
Don't you always?
Oh my God! Not colonizing Mars. That's not happening, people. It's a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it would take to colonize Mars? Do you know how long it would take to terraform that thing? It's a marketing scheme that everyone somehow falls for. This is my native language, I promise. That everyone somehow fell for.
That's a girl.
Despite being like debunked by a Google search. Like, are you serious?
No, I do think that we are progressively getting dumber and dumber as a society. Is one of the things that I yell about quite a bit. But this was, you're nailing a lot of the reasons why I was always initially annoyed with Elon Musk from the jump because of all of this stuff. Where I was like, this is not happening.
That's a transgender
I remember
daughter.
having these conversations with like the donut media guys who were like car guys, right? And I was like, on paper,
it means more because of what he stands for.
This is supposed to be like a green energy focused person who, but he's not exactly. I'm saying like on paper, he's supposed to be like leading the charge on renewable energy and electric vehicles and yet, he's such a fucking douchebag.
10 years? 10 years that facade worked? God.
Yeah,
no,
but okay, so but all of these lies though, it still seems to work because this is the first time I've ever experienced like I've expected, and people who understand the market a lot better than me have thought that like, oh well, we should short Tesla. It's inevitably going to
look up E ratio and then look at Tesla stock compared to other car companies.
Yeah, no, exactly, because it's not a car company, it's a tech company, right? It's just like a silly.
It's not a car company; it's a Ponzi scheme.
All right, so I do want to point out something with that Mars thing before we wrap up. There's a book, right, that was written in Nazi Germany by like one of the head people in Nazi Germany that talks about space exploration to Mars, and the captain is called the Elon. I think with Elon and his family, we have a case of Dune. So you remember in Dune?
Yeah.
What they were doing?
Prophecies that were like broken up and reinterpreted.
But not even just the prophecies. Remember what they did in Dune? They created the environment so that the prophecy would happen. They did. It was all planned out. They created the lore so that they could then follow the own plan that they made up to have the kid. Yeah. I think this is the same thing with Elon. I think his family named him Elon because of that, their relation to Nazi Germany. And what they're doing is when he says the going to Mars, that's the idea of creating your own white savior. I'm the Elon that's going to take you to Mars. And because it's associated with this historical book, it then gives me cultural relevancy. Like I am somebody who was foretold. It's just like what what's the dude, the gay dude who used to be a singer? He was David Bowie. That's what I'm saying. David Bowie had a song where he predicted Kanye West, where like even in there, like the street name was K West, and then like the name of the album had something to do with it's right here. Ziggy Stardust. Yeah. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. See how that K West right there? So I think it's something like that, where he's just trying to harpen on old lore and try to make it seem like that's about him and he's the prophecy. Like some Jesus shit, Antichrist shit.
Yeah. They were trying to say Obama was the Antichrist when he first became president.
I hated that so much.
Me too. Whole time it's Elon.
The reason why I hated it so much is because there was so much stuff that did not apply to Obama. That was the craziest part.
It just sounded, they were just angry because it was a black man. Like I never even paid attention to what they were saying because I was like, y'all just don't like black people. You're just mad. It's a black man being president for the first time ever. Like I wasn't listening to any of that noise.
Yeah. I mean, some of it was that, but I think a lot of just people were just, it was the rise of the internet and you could just say a lot of stuff, whatever, and there wasn't really consequences for it like it is now. So, and even then, like, when I mean consequences would be like, you wouldn't even get popular. If you had a 1 million view video about some conspiracy stuff, you wasn't getting popular off of that. Nobody was going to interview you about it. It just was going to be something that existed on the internet. So, hey man, just want to tell y'all before we wrap up here, get your tariff money together, man. It's crazy, man. Yeah. And get your pardon money together because Trump is selling pardons. So you be a part of that if you want. Be a part of that is sick.
It's a good time to do crime if you have enough money.
I'm telling you, 1.8 million is the going rate. You just got to put it to his charities and whatnot, but the going rate.
Okay.
All right. Is anything else you wanted to touch on before we go, or you ready to go?
Very much.
You tired of the people already?
I have things to do.
Life is a labor of love, so let's keep building these moments together. And remember, your job is not your family. The only thing you should be exploiting is these corporations.
Okay.
I was reading it wrong.
Yeah, because that's not it. Follow us on all of the social media at talk.fnf.tv on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're currently listening on YouTube, like and subscribe, please and thank you. And if you're listening on any of the streaming platforms, please download. Love you. Bye.